Good morning, YouTube. This is LA Prepper here, and I've decided that it's time for a little bit of a fun video. I don't know if you have Harbor Freights in your area, but they're essentially a store that sort of has a real direct connection with a lot of factories. They make some stuff over here, but they also have some factories overseas. So instead of paying for a lot of marketing and big branding and stuff, they offer a lot of inexpensive products. So I thought I'm going to make this video and I'll call it things a prepper could get from Harbor Freight. You know, what kind of preps can you be looking at from Harbor Freight? I'll try to avoid most of the obvious stuff. You know, like we see some generators on the front page, and yeah, everyone would love a generator during shit hits the fan. So I'm trying to look at a couple more interesting things in here. But I'll kind of cover some of the general stuff. So let's just see what we can find. All right, solar panels, obviously really awesome. And one thing I'm going to say about this is that I was looking, there's a detail on what comes in the kit a little bit later, and it is actually a kit, so it comes with like a like an inverter and, you know, some other stuff. It's not just the panels, but and I can't find where it is. I'm not going to spend forever digging through this. But if you look here, it's actually 4 different panels next to each other. And one of the reasons I was thinking of holding off is that I have some windows, but like one of the windows is next to my bed and the other window is kind of, I would have to put the panel either right in the window, which would work not terribly. But I don't have room for this big of a panel. And when I was reading the details, I realized that there were 4 separate panels that all get bolted together. So if you're looking at a solar panel and you see the picture and you think, wow, I don't have anywhere for that big of a panel, just keep in mind it might be an array of panels. So that would be pretty slick. I actually talk about this tool in another one of my videos. They sell them for a lot cheaper than $100, but that's an OBD2 scanner. Here we have a very nice winch for $60, 2,500 pounds. I'm sure your bug out vehicle could use a winch. Got some home security. What else do we have? Weather-resistant tarp for $50. Man, that is a really expensive tarp. Got some gloves, compound saws, dollies. $88 generator. That's going to be a loud generator. Might still work, though. I've never heard of Tailgater. It's a funny name. But, wireless alert system for $10. Now here's something, you know, you have your $60 video camera system, but even just a little bit of a motion sensor. You can probably, wireless receiver chimes to the alert when a person or vehicle comes within 400 feet. So it's actually a nice long distance one. Oh, excuse me, just waking up here. If you had a little bit of skill, you know, you might be the super prepper and say, hey, I don't want a chime going off. I want to be quiet. I want to have a silent alarm. You could probably open that thing up and just wire the chime to a little LED light, and you don't have to worry about making noise when shit hits the fan. So, I mean, for $10, you want to add some OPSEC to your perimeter. You know, cool little find. Hatchet, this thing caught my eye. I don't know how you feel about fiberglass handles. Some people say, oh, you know, they're terrible. They're going to split. And I mean, fiberglass is really strong. So, you know, yeah, I suppose if you're getting really crazy or you're trying to use your axe for something, you know, I don't know, it's possible to split this stuff. If you have a fiberglass horror story, I would love to hear it. I haven't heard a lot personally myself. In another video, I talked about non-human powered or non-motored ways to move stuff. Here's a wagon for $50. You know, you could carry a lot of ammo in a wagon like that. Inverters, if you're going to, yeah, probably a 12-volt inverter. It doesn't say, but if you have like a windmill generator, if you're going to make your own power, you're going to need to turn that power into 120 volts. Well, you might not need to, but you might want to. So if you do, you're going to have to own stuff like that. Calipers, drill press, nothing exciting. Generators. Now this is some interesting stuff here. This is some cordless electric tools. Now, you might not be worried too much about getting a weed whacker or a trimmer, for your hedge or for the weeds and shit hits the fan. You might not need a blower, but what about a chainsaw? What about an electric chainsaw? Um, Gas keeps for about a year, right? When it's stabilized. So, what if you had a chainsaw that didn't need gas? Now, they are a little bit loud. Gas chainsaws are loud too, but if you get a solar panel now, excuse me. Some people might say, well, if you try to charge a 40-volt chainsaw with a solar panel that's only putting out 100 watts, you can try to do the math on that. It might take you, excuse me, might take you a few hours to charge that bad boy. Well, that's okay. You don't have to cut every single branch at once. So if it takes you a couple days to charge it, that's fine. But guess how much you paid for that sun? Zero. You already own the solar panel, hopefully. You already own the inverter, hopefully. This thing came with the charger from Home Depot. So, just imagine if, people say, what are you going to bring to your bug out group? $170 for the chainsaw, plus $150 for your solar panel. Oh, I'm going to have to do some math here. $150 for the chainsaw. Sorry, $170 for the chainsaw, $150 for the solar panel, and $130 for the inverter, and you can get cheaper inverters. But for $450, you have just become the bug out chainsaw guy. You can go anywhere 24 hours a day. You work for barter, you work for cash, you work for whatever you feel like, and you help people chop wood, clear debris, make stuff, even just regular cuts. You think let's say I'm trying to make like, a table or something, and I need this thing cut. I don't have a skill saw, who knows? You don't think I would pay a couple cans to a guy with a chainsaw to make a cut for me? I mean, yeah, it's a little bit brutish to use a chainsaw when you could use a skill saw or a table saw. But, who thinks about becoming a chainsaw guy during bug out stuff, I'm sure some of you have. But just, food for thought. There's a lot of ways to make a buck in this world. And for a few $100 investment, I mean, maybe get yourself an extra chain, get yourself a couple gallons of chain oil. And, that's another thing. If you're getting a 2-stroke chainsaw, you're going to have to get all that damn 2-stroke oil too. And I actually think I did talk about that in another video. So, what do we got here? Sump pumps. Yeah, sump pumps are cool. You want to, this is kind of a problem if you're going gas, because how long is that gas going to last? You want to be a bug out fence installer? You might make good money for a year. Not going to lie. You might make good money for a year, but, after that, you're going to have to make it like wind powered or something. All right, we got some saws, some cordless stuff, cordless drills. Yeah, they're going to be worth their weight in gold in WROL. Definitely would pay to have a couple extra cordless drills, even drill bits. You know how hard it is to make a drill bit? If you guys have any machine skill whatsoever, you know how hard it is to make something like this. So, buying tools, even like cheap little kits like this, like a full kit like this, or, kits like that, tools are going to be worth a lot, especially tools that are hard to make are going to be worth a lot. Skill saws, grinder, a lot of this stuff is using a lot of power. All comes down to power, doesn't it? All comes back to power. Power is so helpful. Car washing stuff, some car jacks, winches, hoists. Winches and hoists are going to be in vogue, especially hand-powered stuff. Because, the more you can do without power, the better it is. Tools, taps, dies, pullers, all this specialty stuff. Power packs. Here we got some more inverters. Sorry. Here we have all the OBD2 stuff. You can see like there's one for $44. Get some cheaper options. Battery chargers over here. Oh, winches, you know, good. Block and tackle, always nice. Trailers. Let's see, ramps, tie downs, ratchets, straps, always nice to have. Tool chests, yeah, nice to have. Expensive, but nice to have. Hammers, of course, super useful. Tool carriers. You know, if any of you have any DIY tool carriers that you made, I would love to see them because I want to make a DIY tool carrier and I'm kind of at writer's block on that project. Toolkits, clamps, files. Files are nice. Files are hard to make. Chisels, you know. But files especially. You use a file to make all other metal tools. You know, think of tools like a hierarchy. File is at the top. You know, file is very, very high on the tool. You could use a file to make this, to make this, to make these, to make these, to make this, to make these, to make that. Get the picture? $8. You can make so many things with a file. Wrenches, tools, pliers, you know, super nice. Sockets, also useful. Safes, you know, gonna want a good safe, obviously. Home security stuff. But yeah, here's where the kit's talking about 4 25-watt panels. So you don't have to put all of them together. You can just put 2 over here and 2 over there, you know. Battery powered stuff, obviously going to be nice. You know, rechargeable batteries. You're going to want to be able to recharge batteries. I don't have a lot of rechargeable stuff at the moment. Something I would like to work on in the future. Power cords. Yep, power cord's going to be nice. We got paint stuff, tarps, ground cloths, you know, $3, $5. Get yourself a few extra ground cloths without a doubt. Dollies, trying to move some heavy stuff, hand trucks. Got some air stuff, impact stuff. Gloves. Get some gloves for WROL. Obviously, so many reasons. Welding stuff. Now, you want to make a lot of money during WROL? Figure out how to keep your welder going off solar panel. Get a battery array that can do welding. I mean, how valuable would that be? You know, man. Yeah, you got to have the welding material, but holy cow. If you could do welding, some really high-powered stuff, and I'm not talking about using a gas generator, I mean fully battery pack welding, you would be very valuable to your group. Because even though, you know, even if society, your community has 100 welders, I guarantee that 100 of them do not have a way to run all that stuff off electric. Maybe a few of them do. Maybe a few of them have generators. Maybe a few of them even have generators and 100 gallons of fuel. But ultimately, this is the difference between you and the other preppers, okay? It's not how you do in a couple days. It's not how you're doing in a week. It's not how you're doing in a month. The difference between you and everyone else is how well you're going to do. I'll put this down so I stop shaking. The difference is how well you're going to do, you know, how well you're going to sustain yourself. Looking at my rifle research spreadsheet here. But how sustainable are you? You know, a fully solar chainsaw, 100% sustainable, essentially, other than maintenance and such. Fully electric welding, 100% sustainable. So don't just think about, oh, I got enough gas for a month for this thing. I got enough gas for 6 months, you know. If the power went out forever, and I talked about this in another video too, if the power went out forever, you know, can your preps last forever? Mine won't. That's why I'm making these videos. That's why I'm working with the community so that I can prep better. But yeah, so thanks for watching. I know this has turned out to be a little bit longer video, and some of you might think that me looking through a catalog is kind of a silly thing, but you know, I'm just trying to open up your mind, get you thinking about different ways to prep, different ways to make money, different ways to be part of the community, different ways to provide for you and your family. This has been Los Angeles Prepper. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.